modern day masculine man, take one.
Ooh, what makes a modern day masculine man? When you drink your liquor straight, a modern day masculine man. I pay all the bills and I tells my woman the truth. Got my shit together, do what I wanna do, say what I wanna say. I won't break, you are not me, and I am not you. I kept it real, so now I can do what I wanna do. Modern masculine man. Welcome to Man School.
Welcome to the Modern Masculine Man Podcast, Mitch. Woo! Hello, my ladies and my fellows. Welcome to another edition of the Ranting, not Ranting and Raving. Yeah, Ranting and Raving, not Ranting and Raving. Tough Talk Tuesdays with me and Trab. It's been so long since I've been on, I done forgot what day it is. It's Ranting and Raving Wednesdays, but it's Tough Talk Tuesdays with me and Trab. And I'm here with my guy, Trav Perry, the king, the inventor, the LLC master of hero training. We here today, and we here to come to y'all with another tough talk, another tough conversation. We don't believe in talking dumb shit, talking bullshit. We have tough conversations about things that affect us as men, that affect us more than anything as a family unit. How you doing, Trav, on this beautiful Tuesday, man?
Man, I feel good, man. Been snowed in like most of the South. Got out for the first time in 3 days, and I feel good, man. Ready to get it on.
Hey, man, ain't that snow in with your family one of the most beautifulest things, man? You at home and you're bored, but you ain't bored. You're just enjoying your family, even if your kids just running around or back and forth. Me and my wife watched a series called His and Her. You know what I'm saying? And we had a good time. And I like to be snowed in. The only thing I'll be worried about is if the power gonna go off. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But speaking of snowed in, man, I want to start right there, man, with this winter storm. You know, they hyped it up. Every year they hype up the storm, and it's like the grocery store sell out. And as a man, you know, we talking about preparedness and readiness. Mm. So it's always a situation where I go out and I get kerosene because I got a kerosene heater I bought about 5 years ago. I never had to use. I got a generator I bought about 5 years ago. I never needed to use. Not one of the big generators, but one of the ones you plug up and you keep it plugged up, and it's got 2 plugs on it. So we could cook and watch TV during the if the power went out. But we've never had to use it. But I remember thinking, man, ain't shit happening, man. You know what I'm saying? And I had kerosene left from last year, and I Googled it. And it was like, don't use kerosene from a year ago, but you can. But if you light it and it smoke a little bit, then I say, man, let me just go get some new kerosene. Yeah. And you know, the price of fucking kerosene skyrocketed, $40 for, what was it, 4.5 gallons. So I'm like, okay. I sat there and poured out the kerosene and went and got more kerosene. And I was saying to myself, man, ain't shit gonna happen. And then some kept saying, what if some do happen? What if some do happen? And you know, like that movie with Mel Gibson and, you know, the apocalyptic movies in the future and stuff, and they ain't got but one seed and they looking for water and all that shit. My mind got to thinking like that. What if we got snowed in, you know what I'm saying, and it won't no power? And my imagination kept going, and I had took a deposit for some that I needed the money for, I had already committed to, and I would have had to get the money back, and then I would embarrass some people if I didn't show up. So I was debating with my wife, you know what I'm saying? And you know my wife, she always team me. She like, fuck that shit, fuck that money. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how to run this generator. I don't know how to do this heater. And I was showing her how to do it. And she was like, well, I'm still going to call you. And I left out into the snow, man. And my daughter started crying. And I left out going into the snow about 8 o'clock as it was starting to come down. And the roads got slippery immediately. And as I was driving her car, which is 6-speed front wheel drive. So, in my mind, I'm a country boy. I can keep this bitch in second gear and cruise 20 miles per hour, coast down the hills in third, go up the hills in second. But it was like a 30-mile drive, man. And the whole time I was just sitting here thinking, what if that damn power go off and my wife and daughter is left at their house and I done came out here chasing a fucking dollar? And all I could think is the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. That's all I kept thinking about. You done left out of the house, going into a storm that they say could be the storm of the century. You left your wife and child to go get some goddamn money. And it made me sad. It made me cry. It made me feel like, boy, you need to have your shit together more. And it made me say, I'm never going to be in a situation like that again, where I'm going to let money make me leave what I feel like is the safety of my home. And it made me made a decision. I'm about to start streaming, man. Like these guys, Castanet, all these people. If I believe in myself, I'm about to start streaming. Facebook then already took me off, demonetized me. So I'm about to start streaming. You're gonna have a hard time seeing me in these social media streets if you ain't fucking with my stream, man. I got this shit gotta do something for me monetarily at this point. Cause I didn't like that feel, man. I know you said you took off work. I mean, how you feel about what I'm talking about, man? So speak on that as a man.
Man, I feel you. I understand where you're coming from. A man is as real as his reason. That's the power of perspective. You felt like you had a commitment. That commitment meant something because your name was tied to it. I don't think it's right or wrong. You was conscious of the vulnerability you was creating, but you made a decision. Like they said, thank God the power didn't go out. You made it back home. So I guess that's the whole point of being able to look back at the decisions you made. For me, I was supposed to work Sunday morning. Um, I always tell them at work, it's part of my religion. When I see white, I hang tight. You know what I mean? So I make that decision for me and my family. Like I say, the weatherman made it seem like the big bad wolf was coming. And I'm thankful that it didn't. But I was prepared. My wife and children look at me for security, protection. They see my confidence. That's what gives them assurance. We talk about people that's being insecure or women that's insecure or don't have security. So as a man, those decisions made. But I also believe that if you consciously make the right decision, man, and you know it in your soul, you're doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
You'll always land in soft places if you're doing shit for the real right reason.
It's funny because it was a situation where that was like something I had contracted to do, but my job was also saying, we're paying triple time if somebody come out. You know what I'm saying? They was, and that didn't even enter my head to go out there for triple time. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like that I had some people from the job calling me like, man, you ain't trying to make it in the snow. They paying triple time. You know what I'm saying? And triple time is good time, but it's like that won't enough. Yeah. I guess it was more because of my name was on the line. How did you feel, like you said, taking off? You're a supervisor on your job. But my job too, like, have what's called inclement weather pay. If you come in doing inclement weather, you can get paid triple time. How would your mind have considered go in to get that triple time?
No, like I say, man, you got to know who matters and what matters to them. And this ain't a right or wrong thing. That's why I say it's about the power of perspective and knowing your position. Maybe I could have made it to work, but making it home from work is just important to making it to work. And just like I work with a lot of people, some people single, some people don't have families. So from their perspective, in their position, making it to work in the storm will ensure them that they won't be alone, that they won't be vulnerable. They'll be around people. So I can understand that perspective when some people say, I'm coming to work. I just know I'm leaving something. And that's my position. That's my perspective. And that matters more than money to me. So I
I
don't
got
think it's right or wrong.
I got another question for you. Ryan Davis, you know who that is? He's a comedian. I think he's out of Charlotte, North Carolina. You ever heard of him?
Yeah, I know who he is.
I saw him on Club Shay Shay. I want to ask you. Now, first of all, this man said some shit I thought was crazy and amazing at the same time. He said he was dating this chick. He didn't marry her, but he was dating this chick that he was in love with and he wanted kids. And she specifically told him she did not want to have kids. She did not want to have kids. He kept asking her, kept pressuring her. Finally, he yeefed in her. She got pregnant. They have a kid. He break up with her. They broke up. Now he on the road doing comedy. This man said it broke his heart because at one time his daughter used to just crawl on him and play on him and kiss him and hug him like unconditional love. And when she got about 10, 11 years old, she started seeing him as a bank account. And Shannon Sharp was like, yeah, I know. Blah, 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 blah. What do you think about that?
I think it's real life shit. I think it's real life shit. On shot to that, I saw a comment the other day where it was one of these podcasts where men versus women, and the guy was telling the woman that she can't deserve or expect so much attention from a high value man because a high value man won't have a lot of time. He'll always be handling business. And so even going to that, man, we as real as our reason. If you chasing money, then that proceeds anything that matter. So that child, that woman, if that don't matter, then you're going to chase what matter. But if you real enough to know that every man is as real and solid as his foundation, this ain't no subjective type of thing. This is order, right? A home, a founding base, a charger. It serves a purpose. Balance serves a purpose. So if a man's standing that, then he have to put that on the scale of what he's sacrificing that for. So like for me personally, I've made choices in my life. Sometimes I've even called them self-sabotaging choices because I battle, like they say, man, what you fear. Man, I fear sacrificing being here for my children every day of their life as a father to go prove something to the world that don't matter. So I think it's a real thing. I don't think it's a right or it's a wrong thing. Like I say, people got to understand their position in order, in truth. And if a man don't feel or know what a foundation in a home is, then I can understand why he don't value it. And he'll go do any goddamn thing to be any goddamn thing and don't really realize the things that he don't choose no more to be or not to be. That's a father. That's a husband.
I believe in safe spaces for men, but I think we gone too far with that shit, man. I believe in safe spaces for men, but sometimes safe spaces for men need to be off the goddamn internet. You know what I'm saying? Some of these safe spaces to me need to be barbershop talk like they used to be. The reason being because I would assume that every child looks at their father as a bank. That's my hero. That my daddy gonna pay for my trip. You know what I'm saying? My daddy gonna pay for my trip, especially if you're an outside father. If you're not there, nigga, you said this woman didn't want to have kids and you had a baby by her and then you broke up with her. So if you're an outside father and you're not seeing your child all the time, the relationship isn't as strong. So when you're an inside father, your kid's gonna act, who they gonna ask for money? Mom and daddy. You know what I'm saying? And I think it was a situation sometimes as men, we tell too much. Like, for example, it's certain things I don't think as men we should tell our woman. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm going to give you an example of what I mean. Two examples. As parents, I don't think if you and your wife going through a rough spot in marriage, y'all need to sit the kids down and say, hey kids, mom and daddy going through a rough spot in marriage and da-da-da-da-da. And now the kids worrying about mom and daddy going to stay together or something simple as, I give you a perfect example. And this is something that affects your vibration, as people say. I took my wife a little while and got her a gun and got gun safes and taught her how to use a gun. And You know what I'm saying? And when I leave the house, this is the code to the safe. I got a thumbprint on there where she can get in it quick. But every time I leave the house, I'm always nervous. What if somebody kicked that door? What if something happened? Can my wife get to this gun? Will she remember how to use it? Will she remember the combination? Will she remember what finger? And every day and then I have to say, hey, baby, come here. And she come here and she said, oh, there go that gun safe. And she don't like it. She don't like how that feel, the vibration of thinking, you're leaving. What if I have to shoot somebody to protect our home? You see what I'm saying? Now I think about that every day. Every time I leave the house, I'm there's a nervousness. But I don't go to my wife every day and say, hey, you know I'm nervous leaving the house, but you happen to be the protector of the house. You know I'm nervous. You know I'm nervous. It's just every now and then I might say, hey, let's go out our little little routine if something happened. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And I think every man should do that with his woman. You know, like I said, her knowing how to do the generator, the kerosene heater, the gun, whatever. But I don't walk around putting that in her spirit or talking about that a lot. You see what I'm saying? Because it scares it scares me. Because sometimes I say to myself, shit, you know what I'm saying? You know, it's men, we think we goddamn, I don't know how scared I be goddamn trying to goddamn hit the buttons on the goddamn safe to get to that gun. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's just certain things that I feel like as men we need to talk about, but talk about them in private sections, because I hate to say this, we are the heroes of the house. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want the you know what I'm saying, the women and children to be like, Dad is scared of the motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Do you get you get where I'm coming from?
Well, I get where you're coming from, and I think what you're saying is real life shit, and it's the point of hero training. It's the point of Tough Talk Tuesday. It's the point of Bells and Bubbles. And this you're gonna always hear me say this: ain't nobody above the bullshit. And as much as people beginning to catch on to that, the second part is just as powerful. But the bullshit will make you better if you're real enough to deal with it. So going back to a man, your attention is the most powerful thing you can pay. I don't care. Your attention. We always criticize our women. All they want is attention, because that's the most powerful thing you can pay. And people pay attention to who and what they care for. So when a woman says, I want your attention, she's saying, I want to feel that you are concerned and you will notice anything wrong with me from the outside. I need to feel that security. So it's just as much as she wants you to pay her attention. If she loves you, she paying you attention. Your confidence. And that's why I say it's imperative to understand you got to be the one. If you ain't the one in your house, if you ain't a 10 in your house, damn what somebody else think. If you can't walk around in your house knowing you a 10, you the one. Man, your children and your woman look at that, and that is their security. So as a man, and I always say this, everybody have weak moments. But if you're around love and you get to tripping and slipping, it's all right to fall in love, because that fall only lasts as a moment. Get back up. When I'm going through something and I start to get game day butterflies, like I've been doing since I was 8 years old playing sports, but I know when I feel that fear and that nervousness, I know that's a part of my process that's finna generate greatness. So I'm saying this to say, it's all right to have them moments, but your woman don't want to see you stand in that. Her life depends on you feeling like knowing that she is. If she
and that's kind of what I'm saying. I'm not saying don't be scared or don't be vulnerable, but sometimes I can recall my mom saying stuff like, damn near made me feel like it was a burden to raise me, or like she was doing something extra, like would sit down with the bills damn near and be like, look at this goddamn light bill, like this shit high and this, that, and the other. And I be looking at that shit like, I don't care. As a child, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care. I don't know nothing about no goddamn Holly Myers furniture bill and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? But it would be situations where I would see my mom like complaining and explaining and say shit that would worry us as kids, but things, whether she sold some pussy or borrowed some money, it would be like shit like Christmas gonna be short this year. Y'all might not get what you want for Christmas. It's hard. The job this. My light bill. The lights might get cut off, and the lights never got cut off, and we never went without food. But it was like she was always letting us know how hard she was working and how hard it was to take care of us. And as a kid, I was like, I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? And I just can't imagine.
Well, you know, let me say this, man.
Putting it in the children's ears.
And this truth, and I know you sharing a story, but like you say, your mama provided for y'all. The lights never got cut off. She paid the bills. Y'all always had food. And the truth of the matter, like you've expressed, your mama was a single woman, really doing the best she could and the best she did. And it was hard. It really was hard. It would be hard for me if I didn't have a better half in my wife. And I ain't talking about financially. It ain't like we say, it ain't all about money. It's about true balance and understanding and knowing, it just knowing and accepting that you need it. So sometimes when you realize you're vulnerable in life, and this ain't about man or woman, this work both ways. This is a universal truth. We all get to places where we got to realize and understand our position and say, man, like you say, I need to be in a better position so when the storm comes, I want to be secure and ready. So acknowledging that is accepting, man, I need. And your wife see that need in you. Me and you speak passionately about our dreams to each other. And I just want to say this, and this ain't about for camera, this is about being real. Man, you say the things and I say the things about how our wife believe in us and all our frustrations of wanting to strive and be more for our cup to run over, to really show what we saying in a practical way, because I'm tired of us having to believe some shit. I want to show you better than I can tell you. And that shit make you weak and sorrow sometimes. Like the Christ are hard, like my big brother say, boy, that Jesus hard, make you sad. You stay with empathy. You stay with compassion. But those moments, real, dog. And your wife got to pull you out of the moments. Say, go in the game then and fight.
I call it the good gene, Trav, that good gene, having that good gene. It's like a lot of people don't realize there's one thing that you can do for income, and then you have purpose. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people have a hard time. Most people don't have their purpose tied to their income. I remember my granddaddy saying a saying that everybody used to say, and I know what it meant, but now I know what it meant. When he said, find something you love to do and you will never work another day in it again in your life. Well, I like running my motherfucking mouth.
Come on.
I realize that now. I can't get it. I like running my motherfucking mouth. And I want to run my motherfucking mouth every day for a living. And I want that shit to make a living for me. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing that I know wouldn't be work. If I was running my motherfucking mouth, running my motherfucking mouth. Caveat, man. Those are two things that I had on my mind. What you got on your mind this week? I know you said you've been feeling the spirit of your grandma, man. What you got on your mind this week? What grandma want to say to her?
I'm still, well, I want to say this because I'm still in the moment, man, about what we're talking about. Okay. I want to move on, but I want to say this, and it's some real life shit. Like I said, I work in leadership at work, right? And one of the most challenging things about being a leader in a manufacturing aspect is leading and managing women. And this ain't in no temptation type way. It's about understanding what a woman is and what a woman need, and objectively knowing you have to get a particular thing out of her. And let me tell you something, man. I work with women from all different ages, from all different ethnicities, from Asian, Black, white, no matter what. And I got to every day go to work and I got to chin check, temperature check, not only the women, but everybody attitude. Because attitude creates morale. Morale creates the environment tone. And in a manufacturing environment, the tone must first have a good attitude to be safe, to be open, to be aware, and to be collectively working as one unit. And so every day I got to go check these attitudes, man. And some of the women get up by themselves. They come to work. And the first experience or the first encounter they have is me, a man. They don't have that at home. They ain't gonna see it back till they come back to me. And man, I got to do what I got to do to ensure the safety of this plant. But I'm saying this to say, like we say, when you align your purpose and your passion. So when I talk about hero training, when I talk about that Bruce Leroy glow, when I talk about the power of us doing this, hoping that it lands into somebody and make a difference. Man, I got to live this shit every day. And I'm just fortunate that I get paid to do it and use real people as almost like guinea pigs to know what I'm saying, to say it from my soul.
Testing out your ideas at work.
Man, come on, man. So these women become so dependent upon this. Not in a temptation way, not in a wrong way. It's knowing that I don't know how, but I got access to Travis every day. And man, like we talk about a woman, man. My fellow co-workers say, Trab, boy, I don't know how you have none left for your wife when you get home. Boy, they drain you. They drain you. So I'm saying all this to say, man, this real life shit. Ain't no woman above what she need. Ain't no man above what he need. Anything out of order has a malfunction. If we ain't gonna accept order and what's real, then we gonna fake and we gonna act, and we ain't gonna never seize the moment to really know what matter. And when you tie everything you do into that, man, like they say, man, you'll know what real is and you'll feel it. But yeah, we can caveat. I had to get that off my soul, man.
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean, man, because at my job, you know what I'm saying, the building that I work in, it's 1,000 women. It's a six floor building, Department of Human Health and Social Services. It's all women, you know what I'm saying? And it's funny because, like you said, the first thing they see in the day, I'm in their third shift, so I'm kind of leaving when they come in, and they got used to seeing the guy. I like I'm Javon. I wear this Central sweatsuit. I got a couple of them. I wear this motherfucker every night. You know, they got used to saying the guy in the Central sweatsuit. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like you in the hero training shirt. You know what I'm saying? And it's funny because I got sick one week. And you don't know how valuable you are. And this is just speaking in the elevator, walking, I got sick. I wasn't necessarily sick, but I stayed off a week with my wife. You know what I'm saying? She was sick, and I ain't want her to have to, handle my daughter sick. So it was like maybe 6 days I ain't go to work. And man, I didn't realize when I got back, man, women I never spoke to was like, oh my God, where you been? Such and such. And just so many women were happy I was back. And it's just situations where in the elevator, hi, how you doing? Good morning. Good morning. You smell nice. I like your hair. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't realize how much these women miss my presence in a week. And the women that I work with was just like, yo, these women around here was asking where you at, and what you doing? And I know just women being women, it won't nothing like that. Them women was just like, when I come in at 7 a.m, it's a big tall nigga in here, and this motherfucker happy. Hey, what's up? Good morning. It's like they miss that presence. So a lot of times you don't really know what your presence is as a man around a lot of women. You know what I'm saying? Situations where they coming in, just me holding the door. You know, them social workers, they come in with a pocketbook, they dragging a thing, you know, with all their paperwork, you know what I'm saying? So I'm opening the door a lot and not realizing how much that right there plays a part on their life and my life too, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But go ahead and caveat for us, man, because I'm pretty sure grandma been speaking some good to you.
Yeah, yesterday was my grandma's birthday, man, and I say this, that a spirit lives as long as it's in the mind and memory of the living. I want to say that again. A spirit
Man, that's
lives
deep right there.
only as long as it's in the mind or memory of the living. And I say this because just think, my grandmama's mama, I know her mama name. So just like I put on today, I made a post. I used the census to chase my family tree and understand my roots. But there's names on that I've never seen, that are never spoken, and nobody remembers them. The spirit ain't living no more.
Yes,
And
sir.
that's only 3 generations. 3 generations. Nobody will speak most of our names ever again. So I had my grandma in my spirit, and I just think and reflect about a lot of our relationships, man. And I think about where we are today every time I think about my grandparents. And I say we come a long way, but man, sometimes I feel like we went the wrong way, because I got real live living spirits of the examples of true love and matriarch uh, in my mind. And I just examine that and be thankful and know that I got a reference of order to get back to, man, and keep my family too. So, you know, that's what was in my spirit with her. Just thankful that I do have a reference, and to keep that reference in my children, and hope these stories that I tell them will live in their children. So at least my ancestors. And see, we say ancestors and we start thinking in our imagination about 5,000 years ago down in Egypt, and we start getting tired of the fairy tales, but we don't even know 3 names back. That's the real reason you like a lot of ice in your cup.
Yeah.
Cause your great granddaddy used to shake his cup all day, and your daddy didn't understand why he did it, but you just know you always love to drink your daddy cup because your daddy cup was cold. So now you like a cold cup, and here you shaking your cup, and you don't even understand that started from a man that you have no idea even of his name.
That's true, man. That's ironic you said that, because every time you see me on this podcast, I got this Yeti with that cold water and that ice in it. It's funny, man, because you know, you said that that's such a powerful thing. That's why I don't fear death. I don't look at death like most people. You said that spirits only alive as long as they spoken by the living, right?
Yeah.
That's essentially what you said. That's something that every now and then bothers me, because I have a special needs daughter, and I don't know if she gonna, you know, certain things. I pray that she get married and da 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 and all that shit, but I don't. You never know when you got a special needs child, and so I think about having another child just in case, for my legacy or my name or all that shit. But however, what I'm saying is, when my mom passed, bro, some in me wasn't sad, because my granddaddy used to say, you old enough for your wants not to hurt you. And he said the only time you're gonna be sad is when you want something you know you can't have. And if you want something you know you can't have, what the fuck is the use to being sad of it? And so I wrapped around in my spirit. I said, we all gonna die one day. And I know my mama didn't want to see none of her kids pass. So I'm not sad. And you said it, so it means so much to me. You said spirits only alive as long as they are spoken about somebody that's alive. And I hear my mama in my head every day. I have so many conversations with my mama in my head every day, which is keeping her alive. However, what I'm saying is, my grandfather, Alexander Clark, I didn't know the nigga name was Alexander, because, you know, country people call him Alex Clark. But they so country, they don't say Alex, they say Alec. Elliot Clark. Boy, you act just like Elliot Clark. You act just like Elliot Clark. You act just like Elliot Clark. And I can remember being at his funeral, me and my brother, we sitting down. This is my brother's grandfather. This is not even my real grandfather. But me and my brother real tight. We sitting down. And when they put the obituary out, they had a picture of my granddaddy Elliot on that motherfucker. Now, I didn't say it Elliot because that's what they called him. They had a picture of my granddaddy Elliot on that motherfucker. He was smooth. He had the thin mustache. The nigga looked just like Michael Jordan daddy. And then shit said, Alexander James Clark. And me and my brother looked at each other like, who the fuck is Alexander? You know what I'm saying? So it's a situation where that touched me so much because everybody that know me, women, men, children, students, everybody that know me, I'm going to say my goddamn granddaddy 10, 12 times in a conversation.
Yeah.
That's funny. I'm going to start saying his name.
Come on, man.
Now that you just said that, I'm going to start saying my granddaddy, Alexander Clark. And the reason it was funny when you said that, because I said, man, I need to start saying my granddaddy's name because I keep his spirit going more than his real grandchildren.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? But so many people have told me, boy, all you talk about is your goddamn granddaddy. My granddaddy said, my granddaddy said, my granddaddy said, my granddaddy said. So sometimes it make me feel like when I'm finna say my granddaddy said, I be like, no, I ain't gonna say it. Then some say, fuck that. Man, my granddaddy said, they like, oh, hell, here this nigga go with his granddaddy again. So now I'm about to start putting this motherfucking name on it. And it's going to be longer. My granddaddy, Alexander James Clark, said. You know what I'm saying? And one day, all these videos and all this stuff I done said and how strong my name is and whatever my legacy is, somebody going to be saying that shit one day. Somebody going to be saying hot damn now one day. Somebody going to be saying, let me fuck this cat and you hold the tail and I give you some kittens one day. That's something my granddaddy Alexander James Clark used to say. Let me fuck this cat and you hold the tail. But I give you a kitten. That means let me do what the fuck I got to do and you do what the fuck you got to do. And I guarantee you're going to benefit out from it. But right now, what I got to do is a little bit more important or a little bit more seen. So you know what I'm saying? I like the way you said that as far as the spirits die when you fucking stop talking about them, when you stop thinking about them, when you stop remembering them. That's when the spirits go to heaven because they air now. They ain't nothing but air. But as long as they in your mind and you talking about them and speaking about them, it's something real to it. So I like how
you putting air behind it. That's the spirit.
Yeah.
Let me drop this truth. And that's why I say, man, we got to grow up and stop being children. And I ain't saying that to say you or me. I'm talking about collectively. Collectively, we've been cultivated with stories that we yet to understand the point.
Mm-hmm.
Think about sitting Indian style as a child and being told the story. Do you get the point is one thing, but ask yourself, who's telling the story? See, we got to stop. We got to stand up from being Indian style and stand up as parents and tell the stories to our children from a particular perspective. So in the story, when it says there's something about the name, because we don't understand the point, we don't get that it's about your name, your legacy, your last name, your first name. That becomes your religion. And I'm talking about in real life. I ain't talking make believe. I'm talking about your name. When your name is strong, whether it be credit, reputation, character, when someone looks up your name, like we talk about, I'm a private person. I'm a secret person. If I know your name, if anyone know your name, every city in America has a GSI system. If they know your name, they can know where you stay, how much you pay, what your taxes is. There's nothing private to public information based off your name. There's a power in your name. We calling on something. We got to wake up, y'all. Like you say, there's a power in your granddaddy's name. Say his name.
It's funny because one day somebody will do my genealogy, and this is what the Jews did. The white Jews. The Bible said they were engrafted in, and graft means written. A graft, that's a written in. But also grafting means when you take one plant and mold the stems from one plant. I made a watermelon cantaloupe one year by accident. It grafted in the garden. You know what I'm saying? So grafting is writing something in, but it's also like a skin graft. You take one piece of your skin off your arm and put it on your ass. You know what I'm saying? Or if you break yourself. So that's what grafting is.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny that you say that about that name, because my father's name is Randolph Tyrone Young. That's my father's name. But my brother's father signed my birth certificate. His name is James Otis Clark Sr. So my name is Javon Michael Clark. So one day, it's funny, I always talk about my granddaddy, Alexander James Clark. One day, they're going to retrace my genealogy, and I was grafted into the Clark family. I'm not a Clark. I remember when I was a certain age and I first met my daddy, I had a homeboy that had met his daddy around the same time. We was both 38 and 39 years old. And he said, man, I met my father and he felt compelled to change his last name from Warren Bell to Warren Bennett. You might know Warren was a big time athlete in Charlotte. Played at Olympic football, basketball.
Yeah. I know who he is.
Warren last name was Bell, but when he met his father as an older age, he said he gonna change his name to Bennett, to his father's name. So we were sitting around talking one day, smoking, and he said, Grub, you met your daddy. He said, you gonna change your last name? And I said, yeah, man, that makes so much sense. And I went down there to do that shit, man. And then I got to thinking about the Clark family, and how it engrafted me in, and how my granddaddy treated me, and how my aunts that want my aunts treated me. I said, man, I'm a motherfucking Clark, man. I'm staying Clark. I almost let this nigga, he must have met his daddy and whatever reason made him want to change his name. That shit didn't make sense to me when I got ready to go change my name. So I'm a Clark, and my daughter wear the name Clark, you know, and she, you know what I'm saying? So it's just funny how we talk about looking at our genealogy and this, that, and the other, and I'm grafted into a whole family that I'm not even a part of. You know what I'm saying? That's what my legacy gonna be.
Man, like you say, boy, when the wind blowing and you got good intentions, and you really seize the moment. They say let go because you are land in soft places. I don't know how we got to the power of the name, but just like you say, my last name is Perry, but my daddy's last name is Forte. And people say, well, man, why you and your daddy name different? I say, well, for whatever reason, when I was born, they wasn't married. And when they got married, I was already established as a legend at 5 years old. So I guess they just felt it was already, just let it be. But I say that jokingly, but on the same journey to understand myself, I realized that my daddy's family name was Fort. And I tell the story all the time. When they got desegregated or integrated and they came to school with the white people looked at my dad and his cousin's name and said, y'all pronouncing y'all name wrong. That ain't Fort, that's Forte.
Forte, yeah.
And they made them change their name. And so I told my family when I understood this, I say, man, we look at how we talk about slavery. They took our name and they took our identity. I'm talking about 50 years ago. We changed our name. And I'm going to be real with you, man. I'm going to be real with you, so real with you, man. There's a power in the name. Just the day before yesterday, I saw a guy that I was in the 6th grade class with, Robert Clyburn. If he hear me and he see this, he know I'm telling the truth. And one thing about me, when I see somebody that I got a memory of, I don't care if they on the other side of the store, I'm on yell. Hey, what's up, man? Because I got some love to give, right? So I say, what's up, Robert? And he looking at me. I say, man, you don't remember who I am. I say, I'm Charles Perry. He say, man, what's up, man? So he looked at my symbol. He say, man, I be watching you on the book. He said, but you know, I ain't never connected you to Charles because you go by Trab. And my wife said, you might need to bring Charles back. See, I was Charles Perry in elementary, but nobody ever called me Charles at home. That's my daddy name. So when I got to junior high, I wanted to reintroduce myself and break myself away from my daddy. So I changed my name. Can y'all please call me Travis? But Charles had a legacy, man. Hey, look, man, this is some real life shit. And the man been watching me, genuinely watching me on this here message, and ain't even know, man, he a part of the foundation of me discovering who I was that year. And if I did a movie about it, he would be in that movie, but he ain't even recognize me because my name changed.
You know, it's funny because when I see Trab P, I automatically thought that was just short for Travis. You like country folks, hey, Travis, Trab. What up, Trav? And they saying Trav. But after a while, it turned to Trab.
Yeah.
So I just figured your name was Travis. I never knew your name was Charles. And then you just said something that's amazing to me. As I watched you and hear you talk and have a family and a legacy, I would have never thought you had a different last name as your daddy because you speak so highly of your daddy. I just always thought him and his mom and daddy was married and that man got his daddy's last name. I would have never, and it ain't nothing wrong with it. I just would have never knew you didn't have your daddy's last name.
Yeah, nah, that's real. And none of my family ever called me Travis. I'm Trab. And my grandma couldn't pronounce the letter T. So anything with a T, she put a C. So affectionately to my grandmama, I was Crab. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I better not hear nobody in the family say Crab because I thought they were picking at my grandmama.
Yeah.
That was what she called me. So, you
know, I got a quick story. It's funny because as we talk about a name and it's funny how shit go. My grandma couldn't say J. So she says Siobhan. My granddaddy that called me, that I'm talking about, called me Jerome. Siobhan, Jerome. He called me Jerome so long, I just went with it. My brother Derek, Derick, he called him Gary. And I would wonder how these old folks would be fucking these names up. Now that I'm 49, boy, I be calling my nieces and nephews any motherfucking thing, not realizing one goddaughter named Maisha. I always be like Moesha because Moesha stick in my head. But it's funny because I never forget this. I was just telling my wife the other day. I had a little cousin that loved me, what made me want to have a little girl. My aunt had a little girl when I was about 16. She came home from the hospital, handed to me, babysit her because I was living with my aunt. I remember one day my aunt was joking with me and she said, boy, if you don't get over here such and such, you damn bastard. She called me a bastard. My little cousin said, you a basket. You know, my family started calling me Basket. Now this is when I'm 17 years old. But another thing my family started calling me was Basket. Now watch this. My mother was named Clara May, right?
Yeah.
I nicknamed my daughter Crystal May. I kept my mother's middle name. My other little cousin was so country. She used to call my mama Cow May. And everybody thought it was so funny that she called my mama Cow May. So people in my family jokingly start calling my mama Cow May, right? Well, My daughter, I bought her a Cabbage Patch Kid. It's a little girl, but she got a cow uniform on. So one day I just happened, not even linking the two together. I said to my daughter, "You got your little cow May?" And my daughter loved this little toy. It was a couple of days ago that I realized we call my daughter's toy Cow May. And that was my mama's nickname. And I didn't even link the fucking two together, man. Ain't that some shit?
Come on, man. Come on, man. The spirit never dies long as in the mind and memory of the living, man.
I'm telling you, when my daughter start talking, she gonna be saying, Cow May, like my little cousin was, and like my family called my mama Cow May. And my mama got that nickname when she was damn near 60 years old because my little cousin, hey, Aunt Cow May, Cow May. So people just laughed at it. You know what I'm saying? And we was at the doctor's office, and the doctor asked Crystal, said, what's the name of her baby? And my wife said, Cow May. Boy, I had to get up and walk out because I just realized, damn, we call this. I did not realize as I'm calling this thing Cow May that this is my mother's nickname.
Man.
So that spirit is real. I believe that we never die. And I believe we never die exactly for what you just said. As long as somebody talking about your motherfucking ass, as long as somebody telling a story about your motherfucking ass, you're going to be here. Now, it's up to us if what type of impact we have on our family.
Man.
You know what I'm saying?
I want to say this, man. When I wrote my book, I ain't intend to be no author. And I ain't intending to be in no category or, yeah, I wrote a book. Man, I put some cold shit down that I've been writing on Facebook for the last 13 years. Put my soul down in the form of a book. And people was telling me, man, you got to have references when you write a book. You got to know where you get your information from. And I'm listening at people. But I always say this and understand this. In order to read, somebody must write. In order to write, somebody must think. That process comes with a literal understanding, language arts, knowing how to work it and make it work and express yourself. But when you get it, if reading is that powerful, then let me write it and you read it. That's why I wrote a book. So everybody was saying, well, you got to have references. So at the end of my book, on the last chapter, I called it Legacy and Lessons. I put my grandmama name, all my grandparents' name, my parents' name. I told stories about people that impacted me. Them the references, real life shit. And because I got the point of it all, and I'm blessed. I don't say that egotistically. I put the work in to get the point of it all. I don't have to use fairy tales. I use real life shit to teach the same thing, the universal truth, and understand the truth. And I say that to everybody. You got the same power. So when we talk about there's power in a name, man, affectionately in this house of mine, I yell this, Keisha. And sometimes she say, will you stop calling my name? But there's a power in the spirit, the respiratory system, your breathing. When you inhale the mighty wind, and that's the first thing you do from the time you become a real thing in this here world, you take in the spirit, the wind, the breath. And as you inhale that, and the second part is exhale. When that travel past your vocal cords and cause a vibration, that's a sound. And if it's real, you can feel it just as much as you can hear it. Y'all done felt that spine when somebody sang down from their soul, pushing a mighty wind through their vocal cords. But we hear words, Javon, this real life, man. We hear words like emotions, and we hear feelings, and we hear energy. Well, feelings turns into emotions, and emotions is the energy that comes in that motion and get to move. And so when you're emotionally energized by feelings and you express yourself through a name, there's a power, whether they say it wrong or right. When my grandma said my name, I knew it was love behind the vibration to say, yes, ma'am. because I knew it was something I
Trab.
needed.
Yeah, I can hear
Yes,
that there.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Whether she said crab, trab, or craddis. Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a power in the name, and your attention is the most powerful thing you can pay. Why you keep calling my name? Because I need what come with it.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. Come on, y'all. Come
I
on,
got this
y'all.
old man named Debo. Debo, when I was cooking food, Debo was just like the old man across the street. When I finally moved the spot to a little trap house in the neighborhood, Debo was the old man across the street, still working out at Duke. He was a janitor, 70-some years old. Debo gave me hope because I remember this white guy said to me, I don't see too many big, tall, old black men. I got to thinking. I said, damn, I don't know no tall, old black men. But Debo about 6'7", 6'8". You know what I'm saying? The motherfucker put that voodoo on me, got me thinking I'm going to die early because they said tall people don't live as long. So Debo about 6'8", big motherfucker, big forearms. You know, like them old men that used to lay concrete back in the day. Debo about 6'8", and big stomach, but he still looked muscular. He still, so Debo would come across there, and first he started getting a plate. And I gotta give Debo a shout out because Debo left up out of here. So this is for my guy Debo. I don't even know his real name. Debo used to come over there and get a plate, and every time he get a plate, he would say, "Drub, let's get a beer." He called me Drub. He couldn't say G. He couldn't say Grub. Drub. So the first time I met him, he said, "What's your name, man? You got this good food over here." I said, "Grub." He said, "Well, I'm Debo, Drub." Now, he would call me Drub like he couldn't say grub, but then he would say, "Hey, let me get some of that grub." But he called me Drub.
Yeah.
I don't know what he heard. Long story short, Debo had never heard of YouTube. One day we were sitting there and Debo said, "Man, let's listen to some music, drink some beer, Drub." I said, "Okay." We went to the store, we got some Coors Light, and we came back, and Debo started cleaning the spot up for me. And I said, "Well, how much you charge me?" He said, "Man, don't charge you nothing. Just give me the key." Basically, him getting off work, coming over there, cleaning the spot up, was his way of getting out of his house, drinking some beer, and his wife not bothering him for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
So he would clean the spot up for free. I would just have a 6-pack in there for him. You know what I'm saying? And the first time he said, "Let's get us an old Coors Light, Drub, Silver Bullet." So we go to the store, we get some Coors Light, we drinking, and I turn him on to YouTube. He said, "What? You can type in any song?" He talk about typing in that shotgun, shoot it for me. I'm typing in shit. Then he typing in shit. Boy, he happy than a motherfucker. He's 70 years old. He can listen to any motherfucking song he want to listen to. He happy than a motherfucker. So in the process of listening at the music and drinking the Coors Light, all of a sudden, Coors Light, the Silver Bullet. Coors Light, the Silver Bullet. I'm like, okay. Next day, Debo hype, Drub, let's go get us some beer and listen at that YouTube, man. I said, all right, Debo. So we listened at the YouTube. He said, "What you want to drink today?" I said, "Fuck it, Debo. Let's get us a Bud Light." We sitting there drinking Bud Light and we listening to YouTube and we listening to the music. He typing in all types of songs. Grub, it was 71 when this came out, 83, and just back to the 60s and shit. And I'm just laughing, listening to him tell these stories and we drinking this beer. All of a sudden, "Bud Light, if you want you a cold Bud Light." Debo said, hold up. He said, "Man," and this is when I noticed it. He said, "That goddamn phone listening to us." I said, "What the fuck you talking about, Debo?" He said, "Man, we drunk Coors Light yesterday. We drinking Bud Light. That motherfucker calling out what we drinking." Debo said, "Take that YouTube shit off my phone."
Yeah.
I had to tell a story because my man passed not too long ago. I said, "Debo, for real?" He said, "Man, take that shit off my phone." I was sad because we would listen to music and he would tell me these stories of back in the day. I said, "Well, Debo, YouTube come on your phone. You can't take YouTube off your phone."
Yeah.
He got mad and he said, "Well, why I turn him on to it?" Long story short, man, I remember this guy told me, we was joking, and you never think about this. And he was saying how long him and his wife been together. And then he was like, first time I hit that pussy, we was in the woods. I said, Debo, you married a woman. So we joking, we drinking. I said, Debo, you married a woman, you fucked in the woods the first time. You know what Debo said?
Well,
Think about history. He said, Grub, when I was young, they wouldn't let a black man get a hotel room. Everybody was fucking in the woods on the path. I said, damn.
man, I gotta tell this story, and I hope we don't end on this.
Now go ahead and tell a story.
I had a friend, Benny Lee, and he dead and gone. And Benny Lee died when he was 77, and his mama had died a little bit before him, but she was like 99. And Benny Lee didn't know his daddy. And that just took me back, because I always thought from that generation, you knew who your daddy was. So he was kind of like a 8-ball from that narrative. And I say, Benny, man, how you ain't know your daddy, Benny? And he told me a perspective. He said, well, a lot of people from back home didn't know their daddy. I said, come on now, Benny. I ain't never heard nobody say that. He said, you ain't never been back home neither. I say, well, come on, talk to me. He say, man, you got to think about it. I was living before we had lights. So at nighttime, you couldn't wander off. You had to be right there by the light. And during the daytime, you worked all day. So when we turned teenagers, it ain't no different now. Your hormones go crazy. You go through puberty. You want to get your son. You want to get curious. Everybody didn't, but most of us got curious. And in between working, you run down in the woods. You didn't give a damn who you got it from. You just wanted to get some and know what getting some was like. So by the time we got back to the pitch dark, a lot of people didn't know who their daddy was. And man, I just never understood the power of that perspective from a time. So just for you to hear, like I say, man, real life shit happens all the time, everywhere. You just got to know your position and your perspective of where you standing in things. But that's some real shit.
Well, y'all already know what time it is, man. We down to another time that we got to say goodbye to y'all and all our friends.
Man, don't let me end on that story.
College, Don't let me
end on that story, man.
Think about it. We used to go down to the church as kids and play a game we called it hide and go get it. Some people called it catch and hump. It's like hide and seek, but if you catch a girl, you get the humper, you get the dry humper. So we played that shit with our cousins, friends, every goddamn body. We just weren't doing nothing real because we was too young. But you heard of that game? That might have been what they were fucking playing back.
Well, let me say this to close on that story. Right. Nature happens in a universal way. Nobody is above the bullshit, but the bullshit will make you better if you're real enough to deal with it. And even as children, we all children that has gotten old. And some of us could deal with those things. I always say when curiosity meets opportunity, temptation to knock your ass out. You see what I'm saying? So even in that, making the right decision and knowing how to put your nature in its proper perspective with your consciousness to make the right decision. Because even though he told me that story, he was 70 something years old, but he had a lot of pain like any child that would grow up without a father. So I ain't say that to gloat that. I just want to say that the spectrum of truth and circumstances has always been around just as much as it is now. And you got to know your position in the decisions you make and the reason you make them to maintain balance in this here world.
Well, you already know it. Fam, y'all stay tuned in, tapped in, turned on. Y'all stay tuned in. Me and Miss Carla gonna be here tomorrow for Ranting and Ravens Wednesdays. And y'all tune in to my guy Trab, 9:30 on Facebook for Hero Training. Peace.